Psh, you want to know a secret? Want to read books for free? Are you always having to deal with your hunger for books, but your bank account getting lower and lower? Well, why don't you become a beta reader? As an avid reader myself, I'm always dealing with the age-old problem. Not enough money to satisfy my thirst for books. So one way that I can read for free, and now that I'm telling you you can read for free, is being a beta reader. Now, what is a beta reader, first of all? A beta reader is a reader whom an author relies upon during the editing process, somewhere in the editing process, usually after developmental edits, before proofread, to read the work and let them know what isn't working in terms of plot, character, and development of the story overall. And that is something that you can do as a reader to aid authors in their pursuit of greatness. Now, I'm going to tell you how you can be the best beta reader that you can be for an author who is needing your services. First of all, you want to be very clear on what the author needs from you. And hopefully the author will tell you this as you're in the proceedings of taking on the work. The author will let you know what they expect of you. Do they want... Different authors will vary how much detail they want from you, but you should be detailed. We'll cover that a little bit later on how you can be detailed in the most helpful way to an author. But they're going to want to let you know when they expect the manuscript back, in what time frame they want you to read, and kind of what critiques they're looking from you for the story specifically. So as long as you have good conversations with the author on what they're looking for specifically, that will help you be the best beta reader for them. Another tip on being a good beta reader, now this isn't a must, but we authors, when we edit our own work, we kind of rely on this as in reading out loud our work. And perhaps when you're beta reading, instead of reading it in your head, which is fine, you can read it out loud. And that might just help you catch more inconsistencies or sentence flow, making sure that everything is actually readable, that everything flows very well, because that might be something that the author is asking you to look for. Another way that you can be a great beta reader is to give constructive criticism. The author is not looking for you to say, this was unreadable, I can't finish it. Well, why was it unreadable? Why could you not finish it? If it was a time constraint, then kindly let the author know and then move on. But if it was because there was something wrong with the story, something wrong with the characters, then you need to let the author know. That's your job as a beta reader, to do that for them and to do it happily. And another thing, speaking of happily, is you want to probably read in a genre that you enjoy reading, because an author already is thinking about their target audience, who they want to have read their work specifically. And let's say you're thinking of beta reading for horror when you don't enjoy horror at all. How are you going to be of any help to that author if you don't even enjoy the genre in which they're writing? There's going to be many more flaws that may not necessarily be flaws just because you chose the wrong genre. So make sure you choose a genre that you enjoy reading. Another thing that you can do as a beta reader when you're reading the book is, let's say the author has given you their book on a Google Doc or a Word document where you can write in comments or notes on the sides, then make sure that you do so in the moment when you catch those flaws, so that way if you're just passing over it, there's a good chance you're going to forget to mention the problem, and then that's of no help to the author at all. So make sure that you type in that issue right away and then move on in your reading. If you're reading, let's say, a PDF and there's no availability to write your comments on the side, then longhand form or start another document on your computer. And then as you're reading, type in those reasons why something wasn't working. If it was character, if it was plot, maybe it was a weird, what is that word now? Simile or metaphor that was jumping out that didn't quite work for you, or it pulled you out of the story, then you have to write that down. And don't just write down, this pulled me out of the story, because perhaps, we authors intimately know our work, but maybe not that intimately. So if there's an issue on page 16, then write page 16. Or let's say in chapter 2, this character had blue eyes, but then in chapter 16, he has blue eyes. Oh wait, did I say blue eyes already? I think I did. He has blue eyes in chapter 2 and he has brown eyes in chapter 16. Then write down that inconsistency and a flaw. But be very specific in that way. So that way we know exactly where to go in our manuscript to fix the issues. Last but not least, make sure that the flaw you're not pointing out is a specific author's voice or style, because sometimes an author will write in a style that you're not used to reading in, or that jars you a little bit, but it's not exactly a flaw. You could write that down as a comment, that the style wasn't quite to your liking, so perhaps you wouldn't be the reader for this work. But just note that it not is necessarily a flaw. I read recently a book this year, I think it was this year, earlier this year, called The Last Good Indians, or The Five Good Indians, and it was by Stephen Graham Jones. And it was difficult for me to get into the book at first because his style was vastly different from what I usually read, and it just jarred me a little bit, and it did take a while for me to get into it. I'd say even into the half of the book it took me, but I eventually got there, and I really, really, really did enjoy the story he was telling and the end and how he wrapped it up and what morals and lessons he was trying to bring into his work. But style was an issue for me at first, so just note that it could be an issue for you as well, and to be gracious with the author when speaking about their style. I hope that this has helped you to understand what a good beta reader does. Go out there and find your reads. Now you may be wondering, well, who do I touch base with? What authors can I beta read for? I'm telling you, most traditional and self-pub indie authors love to have beta readers read their work. So go follow authors that you enjoy, favorite authors, and when they are speaking about their books that are soon to be released, or they put out a call for beta readers, you're right there to jump on that bandwagon and offer your services. Also note that you're probably not going to be paid for this, but guess what? It doesn't matter, because you have a free book to read, right? At least you're not paying for the book to read, which is usually an issue for us readers. Enjoy reading your free books and have a great week. I will see you soon. I'm so glad to be back helping you guys learn all about writing.